Alright, welcome to this episode of my playthrough of Armored Core 4 Answer. If you are in this episode, you have chosen the ORCA path, or as I'm calling it, Path D. The ORCA path, we are siding with Maximilian Thermidor against the League of Ruling Companies, because the League, whether they know it or not, whether they just choose to admit it or not, or ignore it or not, whatever their reasons, the League is destroying the planet. The cradles are a stopgap measure, and maintaining them is causing massive amounts of pollution down at the surface of the Earth, which has nowhere to go but up, and so eventually it'll affect the cradles as well. The only solution is to stop the cradle system and bring the people back down to the surface of Earth so that the process of healing can begin. Let's get going. Alright, so the next mission we're going to take is to defend the anti-satellite cannons. The client is ORCA. They are paying 600,000 credits.
Thermidor here. The League has discovered our anti-satellite batteries. Doubtless, they will be sending their elite forces to try and destroy them. I want you to coordinate with our people to defend the cannon. Unfortunately, we are at the turning point in the Arteria offensive. Thus, we cannot spare any additional forces. These anti-satellite batteries are the linchpin of the closed plan. If we lose them, the future of humanity will be cast into doubt. I leave it to you. Don't allow our sacrifices to be for naught.
That is, of course, the other part of the ORCA path. As you may recall, there's the satellites in orbit or low or high atmosphere, which shoot down anything which flies too close, which is effectively trapping humans on Earth. And given that we're polluting Earth, we wouldn't, if we pollute too much, we wouldn't be able to go down and we wouldn't be able to go up, because we go down, there's pollution, we go up and we get shot down by these satellites. These anti-satellite cannons, the Ehrenberg Anti-Satellite Cannons, were developed by Ray Leonard in the past to take out these the assault cells in low orbit, so that it could then open a path for humanity to leave Earth once again. ORCA, and that is the closed plan, basically, is they want to take out these assault cells and reopen the path to space. Let's go.
Commence mission. Protect the anti-satellite batteries while taking out the main enemy force.
You're Collard's Lynx? I've heard of you. So, Thermidor has approved you. I hope you live up to your reputation. I'll lead the attack with my assault cannon. Don't get in my way. It won't end well.
Ambient here. Targets confirmed. Not a problem. Commencing attack.
It's an Eclipse arms fort, which is one of Omer's. That's going to be my primary target, so long as it's within the range. That's one of the things about the Eclipse arms forts, is they do sometimes leave the battlefield and turn around and come back.
Forts have been destroyed. Next detected. Closing in on our location. BFF strict squadron pay.
Looks like you've noticed me. How perceptive of you. You're blessed with an excellent operator.
Ambient has been disabled. Mission failed.
my master. Lilium has betrayed your trust.
Enemy next, ambient has been destroyed.
This was the best I could do. You'd best turn tail and run, Wang Xiaolong. The battlefield is not a place for scheming old men.
Mission complete.
Rank S, I'll take it. Not often that the enemy gets away.
Before the National Dismantlement War, corporations fought over control of the last frontier, outer space. In order to block each other's progress, they built lethal unmanned weapons called assault cells. As the fighting intensified, the planet's orbit became crowded with these assault cells. The path to space became completely blocked for mankind. Maximilian Thermidor made another proclamation. He said,
"The crimes committed by these companies are robbing humanity of its future. Eventually, they will destroy the entire planet." The National Dismantlement War and the Lynx War as well were waged to hide their crimes. ORCA stands against them, fighting now to purge those sins. It is too late for compromises. Sacrifices must be made. The price we all must pay will be great. Atonement shall not be easy. The blame lies with all of us.
The anti-satellite batteries have already taken out their elite forces. Arteria is already halfway to obliteration. It should be easy enough now. We'll just pick off the most obvious targets first. When we're finished with those, they'll gladly return to the bargaining table. The old guard are quick to panic when what seems certain changes, especially those whose past successes have made them complacent.
So that cutscene is actually not one you get on the League path at all, explaining the assault cells. So that's basically what I was trying to explain when I was talking about the assault cells and everything, and that basically is just like the official explanation of it. So the next mission we're going to take is to defeat the Arms Fort Answerer. Now, you may have recall, in the past I've mentioned that these are both on the League path, so I don't recall if I mentioned it if you went down this path. But there's 3 battles in particular that stand out as some of the most difficult in the entire game, for various reasons. Defeating the Spirit of Mother Will at the end of Chapter 1 is the 3rd most difficult battle in the game, for sure. Especially because usually you don't have very good equipment yet when you fight it. Now, number 1 and number 2, I kind of waffle back and forth between which one is more difficult, but this is one of them. It's either when you defeat White Glint on the League path at the end of Chapter 2. White Glint is a bitch to fight because it's so bloody fast. The Arms Fort Answerer is the other one. Now, which one's harder? I don't know. They're dramatically different battles, but they're both a pain in the ass. The Arms Fort Answerer is obviously not a next, so I'm going to switch away from my anti-next configuration before I fight it, and then we're going to fight the Arms Fort Answerer. So this is actually, as you saw, I didn't go back to Strayed 1. I am on Strayed 3. It's basically the same as Strayed 1, but I have 2 missile launchers instead of a missile launcher and a rail cannon. Rail cannons are fantastic if I am going up against long-distance targets that you can usually take out pretty quickly. But when I'm going up against something like an arms fort, don't need a rail cannon, need missiles.
This is Maximilian Thermidor. Your target is Answerer, a high-tech arms fort manufactured by the Interior Union in Omer. The Answerer is bristling with the latest Kojima arms tech. It is considerably stronger than other arms forts you might have encountered. It's a deadly foe. The battle will be hard, but if you are successful, we will move right into the final phase of the closed plan. Maltzel and I agree. You're the only one who can pull this off. This is the end game. We're counting on you.
And we're in Old Peace City again, where we fought the modified land crab with the Sol Dios cannons. So, there's a couple things I want to let you know about Answerer before we get into the battle, because once we get into the battle, I will be way too busy to actually be drawing attention to them. Answerer is a beast of a machine. It is ridiculously powerful. It's one of the only flying arms forts in the game. The Eclipse being the other one. But the Eclipse is relatively weak. You take it out pretty quickly. It's fast, it's airborne, so it can hit you from most anywhere, and it's got a hard-hitting cannon and missiles. Answerer is much, much bigger than an Eclipse. And it doesn't move. It doesn't have to move. It doesn't care about moving. Speed is not its strength. To give you an idea, Answerer is basically a giant column. It's a giant column in the center with 2 arms branching out at the top. Those 2 arms at the top have just tons and tons and rows of missile launchers. So, like Spirit of Motherwill at the end of Chapter 1, or some of the other arms forts that I've fought, when you're fighting Answerer, you are just perpetually having missiles rain down on you. It is a never-ending barrage of missiles that you cannot avoid. And then lower down in the column, there's like kind of a skirt or a dress, just a bunch of wings that come down at an angle from the central column. Now, those do 2 things. First of all, from the outside, they shield the inner core of Answerer. On the underside of those wings of the skirt, there are strafing laser cannons. So basically, if you get under the skirt, all of them, every single wing has strafing laser cannons that they can just obliterate you in a single strafe, because it's coming at you from all sides, and they pack a hell of a lot of punch. None of that is the secret surprise that Answerer has. You remember when Maximilian Thermidor said that Answerer is bristling with the latest Kojima technology? Answerer has assault armor. Yeah. So you remember how, Nexts have like a little bubble of Kojima, like a bubble of Kojima particles surrounding them that act kind of as a shield. Answerer has that. So you can't just attack it from afar. The shield is going to protect it. And you remember how Nexts can force their Kojima, their assault armor, their primal armor out, and causing massive damage to anything near them? Answerer has that. It's an arms fort with assault armor. That's nuts. That's insane. And it's big. The assault armor explosion is huge. You have to go in, attack Answerer, get the fuck out of there when it's about to do its assault armor before going in and doing it again, all the while being constantly barraged by missiles and watching out for those strafing lasers. Answerer is a bitch. Let's fight it.
Commence mission. Destroy the arms fort Answerer. They must be using a massive amount of energy to keep this thing afloat. Start your attack run now. Hit it wherever you can. Destroy the outer shell. It won't hold up too long. We can bring this thing back down to Earth. Combat agents should have known better. Commence mission. Destroy the arms fort Answerer. They must be using a massive amount of energy to keep this thing afloat. Start your attack run now. Hit it wherever you can. Destroy the outer shell. It won't hold up too long. We can bring this thing back down to Earth. Massive amounts of Kojima energy emanating from the core. It's attacking with assault armor. Get out of there now. Enemy assault armor is nearly recharged. There's not much time. Our attack. Some kind of defense mechanism. Good, it's working. Continue the attack run. Enough already. These long-range attacks are just wasting ammunition. Did you hear me? You're knocking the Answerer off balance. Almost there. Don't let up. Confirmed. The Answerer has been destroyed. Mission complete. So, this is the beginning of the end. You think it'll be easy?
Holy carp. Rank A, I'll take it on that thing.
Guard have acquiesced. Now we just need to face the wretches headed for Big Box and take control of Arteria Cranium. Then the first phase of the closed plan will be complete. The energy used to support the cradles will be diverted to the anti-satellite batteries. So, who does what? You handle the cranium, I'll look after Big Box. You? Can you handle that? Remember, Wendy Fancher will probably be leading their forces. That may be. I might not come back. But we all have to die sometime.
Alright, the final mission is the attack on Arteria Cranium. It is basically cleaning up the remnants of what's bad about the League. It is an anti-next, but the Arteria Cranium does not have a lot of headroom, so my usual Kojima missiles that fire up and arc towards the enemy aren't really going to be terribly useful. Client is ORCA, they're paying me 700,000 credits. Let's finish the ORCA path.
Links of Collard. Thermidor here. If you are listening to this message, then I am already dead. Most likely at the Arteria Cranium. Maltzel will not return alive from Big Box. That leaves you as the sole surviving member of ORCA. I'm asking you to do this in my stead. Take the cranium. If you succeed, the Cradle's last support will be gone, and mankind will be forced to return to the surface. Then the anti-satellite batteries can use the energy from the Cradles to eliminate the assault cells and clear our path to space. It is all up to you now. Do this for your fellow ORCA warriors and for all humanity.
No pressure or anything. Let's go.
Target the two nexts, Ryder Palash and Mindless. You've chosen your answer. Now see it through.
Our guests have arrived, Wendy. Right on schedule.
You don't hesitate to kill for humanity, do you? Then lay down your own life, like Thermidor before you.
Take this on all by yourself.
Ryder Palash has been destroyed. AP down 40%.
This quickly? That's all we can hope not the smoothest ending to my career. Wendy, I'm sorry. I wasn't much help.
My bliss has been destroyed. So ends Phase 1 of the closed plan. You are the sole remaining ORCA member.
To treasure a life, is that something to laugh at? Everything is twisted. You, this world, all of it.
ORCA took control of Cranium. Without the energy needed to support them, the cradles fell to Earth. In the devastation and poisoned air of the planet's surface, infants coughed feebly in the arms of their despairing mothers, while the anti-satellite batteries continued their steady charge. When their power is finally unleashed, the web of assault cells over the planet will be destroyed, the sins of the corporations purged. Even as humanity is decimated, they will discover a new frontier, outer space. A new direction at last. It will be a time of growth, of ambition, and of war.
All right. Well, as you can see, a little bit bittersweet. Not all things that are thought to be good are completely good, nor should they be. Um, that ending is really, really interesting because it's like, okay, so you're saving humanity, you're opening the path to space so that we can go on with evolving and continuing to exist, but then you've got those comments about infants coughing feebly in their despairing mother's arms because of all the pollution that they've been forced down to, and the open up a space to a new time for exploration and discovery, but also for war. And that's kind of the whole thing about Armored Core here is it's humans aren't great at keeping things in good condition, especially when it comes to our planet. The entire Armored Core series is basically riddled with that message because humans keep fucking everything up and making things terrible for ourselves and introducing these temporary stopgap measures which aren't sustainable. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of this game, and if this is the first path that you've watched through this game, I do strongly encourage you to watch the other paths because you will get more information and you will see more of the game world, the game story, if you watch the whole thing. So please, if this is the first time you've reached the ending of the game, go back, choose a different path, watch that as well. It is a game I love to play with a story that, as much as it's not exactly the happiest ending, I do like this story quite a bit. So I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I do. Do watch the other story, the other paths through this game, and I'll see you next time, okay?